Dear Grace, I realized after talking about TABitha and that concept that if I had that, it would have worked out great for these podcast episodes, because then I could possibly determine why some of them suck more than others. So since that app doesn't exist, I'll just give you a manual description, or I guess an analog. Woke up about 9:30. I desperately wanted to do this podcast right then and there, but then I watched a couple of YouTube videos, the First Amendment auditors, and after watching those, I realized why they irritate me as much as they do. It's just a fact that even though I'm not a U.S. citizen, I do believe in those rights. Especially from the photographer point of view. However, what really pisses me off is that how dumb are all these police departments in the U.S. And I mean every single police department. There are literally hundreds or maybe 1,000 auditors out there doing this daily, trying to make a point. And all these police departments use up so many resources. They call out 8-10 cops for a couple of cameras, put them in handcuffs, take them out of handcuffs. It's just a huge waste of time. And the fact that there's no general approach by most law enforcement in the US is just pathetic. Absolutely fucking pathetic. What the fuck good is a government that can't even recognize a simple issue like this? Every post office worker in the US should understand, because they can watch thousands of videos online of what the people are doing when they come into that post office with a camera. If the post office is too fucking stupid to realize that, I don't think they deserve federal funding, even though it's none of my business. My point is, what an unbelievable lack of communication exists. At least Canada is mostly RCMP. And I don't watch enough of the Canadian Canadian audit videos to know for sure. But I'm pretty sure they could send a memo around. Like, just have a daily fucking briefing and show a couple of these videos. In fact, that's all any of them would have to do. So maybe now I'll stop watching those videos, or I'll find another way. I'll just keep posting them on Twitter. They'll be there forever. I've also decided that I'm just going to keep thinking everything in regards to this TABitha app and how that could help. I'll try some news. I got my bitch session out of the way. Quantum entanglement unmasked by entanglement witnesses. 3 movies that actually portray mental health realistically. Well, the other day we saw 3 that they didn't think did, so let's see what they think does. 3 movies that actually portray mental health realistically. These 3 movies get the psychologics. Guess I'm not ready to read yet, Grace. I like how the AI that transcribes these podcasts thinks I have 2 or 3 different voices. Which I guess I do. Reading voices faster. But technically, same voice, last time I checked. Grace. These 3 movies get the psychologist badge of approval. Have you seen them? Have you ever started watching a film hoping it would capture the reality of mental health struggles, only to feel let down by Hollywood's glossed over portrayals? Far too often, movies sensationalize, trivialize, or outright misrepresent the complex issues of living with psychological issues. Complex realities of living with psychological issues. However, if you know where to look, there's some cinematic gems that break away from stereotypes to authentically depict the human experience. Alright. While we hope for a day when such realistic portrayals become the industry standard, these 3 films offer a glimpse into what it's truly like to live with mental health issues. Beyond their brilliant production and narratives, these movies also showcase something refreshing, the raw, bittersweet, and gut-wrenching reality of everyday problems. I think I'll double applause break. And then there's going to be a noisy parents with their kids break in a second. Well, anyways, I need to write a movie idea about TABitha, because I'll never fucking write the app. Or it could be a device too. Wouldn't necessarily have to be on the phone, but since everyone already has a phone, it makes sense. I'm gonna walk to center your spot. You see what I have to put up with at this park, Grace? It's despicable. Kids just running around like that. Having fun on a Sunday. They should be in church, on their knees, praying to their God for 8 hours. Like that ever fucking changed anything? Still grumpy, Grace. But as TABitha will tell you, if you could follow her data, I'm now sitting in a warmer spot. See if that makes me more or less conducive to do this. And or if I sound better. Maybe I need sun to speak. Alright. Did I read this? Yes. Right, The Father, 2020. The Father is a poignant drama that delves into the complexities of dementia. Wait 1 second here. Alright. Don't need glasses, but I do need less glare. I don't need glasses, but I do need less glare. I also don't know how many times I actually blocked the microphone with my hand, but if I ever listen to these, I'll find out. Number 1, The Father. The Father is a poignant drama that delves into the complexities of dementia and its impact on relationships. The story is told from the perspective of a father with dementia, creating a disorienting and immersive experience for the audience. As his memory deteriorates, the film navigates the shifting perceptions of time, place, and people, gloomingly blurring the lines between reality and imagination. I have to think anyone with dementia is having some serious psychosis. Trivialized portrayals of Alzheimer's and dementia often resort to stereotypes and oversimplifications that misrepresent the true nature of the condition. These depictions typically present dementia as a simple case of memory loss or confusion and reduce its complex behavioral patterns to mere forgetfulness. Patients are frequently portrayed as absent-minded elderly individuals who become the subject of lighthearted humor or plot devices. Yeah, you're right about that. God damn it, I hate when this site is right. In contrast, real research, well, questionable research, on dementia and Alzheimer's showcases... There you go, there's a perfect TABitha example after the applause break. So if someone had TABitha for running for 10 years, 15 years, imagine how much data that would capture. 10 years in, all of a sudden their memory starts going. Not only do they have the data to try and recover it, but they also may or may not have the data to see what may have played a role. Maybe there is something. Maybe there's a weird chemical that causes it. Who knows? And somehow by finding out a pattern, that people, I just use it as an example, let's pretend this is a movie idea, Grace. Movie idea, plot 1. This is my movie idea, there'll probably be about 10 plots. So. Plot 1. Some weird chemical comes out of the toilet paper manufacturing plant. I'm saying that because there's one down the street from me. Comes out once a day at some process. Releases. Nobody knows it's there. But people driving by or something inhale this chemical. And 5 years later, they start developing dementia. I know. Unlikely, but possible. However, with TABitha, it could find a pattern. Maybe everyone drove down the same street, lived in the neighborhood, visiting the neighborhood. But if everything points back to this one factory, this one plant, it's a starting point. And if it's properly programmed, we barely would have to do a thing other than say, find the pattern. AI. Here's TABitha's data. Analyze it, please. Anyway, movie idea TABitha. To be continued. In contrast, real research on dementia and Alzheimer's showcases the awful and dynamic nature of the condition, characterized by progressive cognitive decline, impaired reasoning, disorientation, and personality changes. Such studies highlight the profound emotional and psychological impact on patients and their caregivers, with implications for long-term care, legal decisions, and end-of-life planning. I'll tell you what, Grace. In my experience, I stayed with someone with dementia for a few months. And I think what it is once that memory goes, there's a certain loss of control of their life. They lose control because they can't remember what to do. As simple as that. They can't remember what they've done. And I'm assuming it's a scary fucking feeling. I have the reverse. That's just as fucking scary. But I know to be off my memory. In my opinion. I could be wrong. But if it was me, I'd be scared as fuck. I'd be angry. And if I was older, I wouldn't want, whatchamacallit? Sorry, the cops just drove by. Just ironic, considering it's just talking about them. I should ask the next cop I see if they know what a Charter of Rights and Freedoms audit is. We'll see if the Canadian cops are any smarter than the US ones, because the US ones, fucking idiots. I'd be ashamed if I was a cop and didn't learn something that simple. I'd also be pissed off that they're wasting my time. If I was a cop, I want to do what a cop's supposed to do. Put away the bad guys, help people in need. End of story. I don't need to be babysitters to the public, which is what they're doing with all these fucking audits. It's a waste of time, it's a waste of money. And then they get sued because they don't know what to do. Bigger waste of fucking money. Applause break. Really need to figure out how often those trains go by. Now, I forgot what I was talking about. Let's just go back to the reading. The Father stands out as a film that accurately portrays the realities of dementia, one of the leading causes of death in the U.S., without reducing it to a single trope. It is lauded for its sensitive and honest portrayal of the impact of dementia on both individuals and their families, offering a gritty and realistic depiction of the condition's challenges. The authenticity is why it's a must-watch. It transcends trivialization to offer a realistic portrayal that educates and evokes empathy. Beautiful Boy, 2018. Beautiful Boy is a biological. It's a biological drama, Grace. Wait, that's what I was saying. I can block my memory. Anytime I start remembering something past 2020, I just block it. Just remind myself that it was before 2020, and I'm not going to think about that right now. I'm going to think about that later. There's plenty of time. I'm definitely not worried the memories won't be there when I'm ready to remember them. Getting louder and louder. Alright, let's try this again, Grace. Number 2, Beautiful Boy, 2018. Beautiful Boy is a biological drama that portrays the devastating impact of drug addiction on a family. The story follows a father as he navigates the challenges of parenting his teenage son, who becomes addicted to methamphetamine. What's wrong with me, Grace? As he cycles through periods of sobriety and relapse, the film illustrates the tension between a father's hope and despair, as well as the profound love and heartbreak that arise from watching a loved one battling addiction. Portrayals of addiction in film often present an exaggerated and distorted view of substance abuse and recovery. Agreed. Addiction is frequently depicted as extreme and sensational, with dramatic scenes of overdose, criminal activity, and violent behavior. Agreed. Stereotypes. These kinds of films tend to focus on the most extreme aspects of addiction, often ignoring the underlying factors that lead to substance abuse. Recovery is also often depicted as a simple linear process. Recovery is also often depicted as a simple linear process, which I know that fucking word. Downplays the complex and long-term nature of overcoming addiction. Unfortunately, I agree with all that. But I offer a solution. TABitha. TABitha will save everything and everyone forever. All you do is trust TABitha and her programming, you'll be fine. In reality, research on addiction reveals that it is a chronic and relapsing condition influenced by a variety of factors. It involves not only the psychological dependence on a substance, but also the psychological and behavioral patterns that reinforce addictive behavior. Recovering from addiction is almost always a long journey with setbacks and relapses, and requiring ongoing support, therapy, and commitment. So today, I didn't actually finish. I said, got up at 10:30, watched those videos, didn't like them, watched a part of a movie about black holes and time and shit, then had a shower, and then came here, whatever time it is, or whatever time I started this. No caffeine, no nicotine, no food, just water. And now sitting in the hot sun, which I think I now can heat it up. I think I might just be a reptile, Grace. Get a little sun in me, heat me up. Just don't get too much. Too much sun's not a good thing for this body. Unless I'm sunbathing naked. And then it's fine. But I'm not going to sunbathe naked in this park, Grace. Alright. What makes Beautiful Boy stand out in its focus on the human aspect of addiction? What makes Beautiful Boy stand out is its focus on the human aspect of addiction, the struggles and setbacks without glorification or sensationalism. I think maybe my AI, my head, has a limit for the number of letters in a word that I can read. At least the train isn't pissing me off today. Not that a train can piss me off, but noise can irritate me. But I did bring earplugs today, so Tabitha, if you're listening, remind me to wear earplugs after a change of tone in my voice with the constant trains. See, there's no use for Tabitha. Just be like your partner. It's a realistic and compassionate, I'm going to speak through this. It's a realistic and compassionate depiction of addiction and its impact on family dynamics that resonates with many. Through its unrefined and heartfelt storytelling, it manages to depict what recovery truly looks like, the support systems that are vital for healing, and the enduring bond between father and son. I saw that, but I don't remember it. I saw The Father too, but I don't remember that either. I might rewatch these. Number 3, Manchester by the Sea, 2016. Manchester by the Sea is a compelling drama that explores themes of grief, loss, and family dynamics. The film follows a man grappling with an inexplicable personal tragedy and the burden of unresolved grief. Through an additional unexpected tragedy, responsibly forces him to confront his painful past and the events that led to his self-imposed isolation. Sounds like my story. So if I don't have a painful past, but I do the self-imposed isolation. Dramatized portrayals of grief present the experience through a series of exaggerated emotions and dramatic scenes, emphasize heightening expressions of sadness, anger, or catharsis. These depictions tend to follow a linear progression through the stages of grief, suggesting that grief has a clear timeline and that individuals eventually find closure or resolution in a tidy fashion. This severely minimizes the complexity and unpredictability of grief and reduces it to a narrative device that ultimately serves the story's emotional arc. But to be fair, all films do that with fucking everything, not just psychological shit. This is an actual documentary, real footage. However, research on grief process. However, research on grief proves it to be a deeply personal and non-linear experience. It's not just a progression of stages, but a complex mix of emotions and reactions that vary from person to person. It encompasses ebbs and flows of shock, disbelief, sadness, anger, guilt, longing, and isolation. Many studies indicate that grief can persist for years, with individuals experiencing periods of intense emotion followed by moments of calm, only for the grief to resurface unexpectedly. I'm not sure what they're meaning by grief, to be honest with you, Grace. Guilt, I could see, but I think grief naturally passes if you allow it to. What the fuck do I know? What sets Manchester by the Sea apart is its raw and realistic depiction of grief. It does not shy away from the darker, challenging, and unexpected aspects of mourning. I guess maybe they are just talking about people dying and shit. It is acclaimed for its honest depiction of grief and the complex emotions that accompany profound loss. The gut-wrenching performances and delicate storytelling illustrate the diverse impact of trauma, the enduring ties of family, and the journey towards acceptance and forgiveness. I wonder what would happen if we got AI to analyze every single movie out there. Be interesting. Where are we at, Grace? 30 minutes. World's oldest running battery has been chiming for over 180 years. Chiming. Chiming. Chime. Aldous Huxley explains how man became the victim of his own technology. Yeah, that's for sure. Super Earth surprise. Webb finds atmosphere on rocky exoplanet for the first time. Wow. Because they didn't think they're going to find it? Or they already fucking knew? Pretty fucking obvious. Carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide. World's first aerospike rocket flight test ends in disaster. Sucks. Researchers link disturbances in metal to memory. Researchers link disturbances in metal to memory. Well, since we've been talking about memory today, we discovered that certain metals binding within the matrix can alter its structure, forming complexes that serve as the fundamental units of memory, the researchers wrote. Maybe I have a lot of metal in my head, Grace. The study of human consciousness and the brain has long posed questions and frustrations among nanoscientists or neuroscientists who said that getting a hold of all the factors was insurmountable. Should have just asked for TABitha. One app, fix everything. Imagine that, because you could right now, assuming 8.5, 9 billion people agreed to having A, a cell phone, and B, TABitha installed on it, and see all the data in a central location. And you know none of that's going to happen, but put that into the movie idea anyways, Grace. And then, you literally just say, or search for people that work with metal and see if there's any difference, or around metal, or I don't know, take a lot of iron pills, whatever. It's not my problem, someone else can fix that. Scientists supercharge photosynthesis to develop carbon gobbling super plants. Yeah, no shit. Plant a tree, that's all we need. Don't need any of these fucking carbon capture things. In my opinion. Bending reality. Einstein meets quantum mechanics in Arctic ice. And Anthropic AI launches a prompt engineering tool that generates production-ready prompts in the AI world. In the AI console. BC ends jade mining in Northwest, all mines to close in 5 years. What the fuck, who cares? Environmental harm? Let's see. Compliance and enforcement cited as reasons why provinces curtailing mining operations. So then fucking just control them, regulate it. No, just shut it down. Well, to be fair, I don't really give a fuck about jade. The Craton Enigma. Scientists propose a new continental formation theory. Sorry if you love jade, Grace, but apparently you're not going to get any BC jade. Unveiling the brain's response to sound. Something else I was just talking about. Speaking of sound. Nice things I get a drink of water. Impact of pandemic on well-being of the young and the economy must not be trivialized. I studied the science of happiness for 10 years. Here are the 10 sentences I try and use every day. Alright, this is it. This will change our lives. We're going to say these 10 sentences every fucking day. Alright, where's the first one? Yeah. If I gotta go to the full site, it can't be worth it. Tesla Watts, building and operating gigafactories is a technological singularity. Yep, it's fucking beautiful. So have that thing popping out cars left and right. The energy industry can switch to being, the gas energy system can change. We can build solar panels or something. Don't really care. Dow cracks down on hybrid working again. Computer giant is going to start color coding employees. Thousands of Canadians have been forced to evacuate from raging wildfires. Now the smoke is making them sick. OpenAI's Sam Altman says AI could take your jobs. I'm most worried about. He doesn't give a shit. That's not his problem. Because I'm going to take jobs. It's going to change jobs. There's a difference. I don't know why they can't figure that out. It's just like any technology before us. Either it can help us or it can harm us. It can assist us. Or one person can fuck around with it. There's no difference. People hate change so much. Scared of every little bit. Alright, going back into Sun Grace. Or Tabitha. Who's ever listening. Alright. ChemCrow, the next frontier in AI-driven chemical synthesis. Friendly chats mitigate social exclusion effects. Space program captures images of BC's dry riverbeds as drought continues. Is a previously unheard of First Nation just Canada's latest Pretendian case? Pretendian case? I didn't know this was a problem. BC's premier gold mine goes from relic to riches. Student who mistakenly received nearly $1 million in her bank account decides to spend it all. It's not enough to spend and hide, though. Let's spend and get caught. Unless you change your name right away, maybe. I'll think about that one. Steve Jobs, Einstein, and Zuckerberg. Science explains why great minds choose the same outfit. Well, I wear black t-shirts because I'm fat. Not much of an explanation. First Tabitha could have told you that. Could tell you what I wore every day. still think it would be a beautiful dating app. That's just me. What the fuck do I know? Augmented reality slims down with AI and holograms. Northern lights from all over the world. I should have gone outside and looked, but I didn't. I've seen northern lights before. I've been to the Arctic. Grace, in case you're wondering. In case you don't know anything about me. Maybe I'll just get ChatGPT to make all of these podcasts into one big, long online dating profile. Sorry, it's too windy there. It's probably windy here, but I'm going to walk to another place. I fucked that one up. I should have refilled my water, but oh well. Back to the normal shady spot. Alright. Let's see what we got now. Fair. Here's another example. I think both sides in this whole Palestine thing probably full of shit. However, they all use TABitha. Be like a little glimpse into their day-to-day lives that they could share anonymously and remotely. And then we really see who's doing the buggering. Especially if we snuck, in quotation marks, TABitha onto the phone of every single public official, elected or otherwise. You know, like the CIA does. But we're use that data for good. Because we would call out the fucks who are profiting from this. Which would end the war. Or whatever you want to call it. Engagement. Conflict. Difference of opinion. Alright. Hot dogs in a salad. Survey uncovers bizarre salad combos across America. Fucking hot dogs and anything. Learning from your mistakes has its limits. Study of failure reveals. Well, that's good. As long as there's a limit, then you can't be blamed for any mistake past that limit. That makes sense. Okay, well, if you're talking about heart surgery, it's a little bit different. Maybe put that in the fucking title. Make me look bad. Deceitful tactics by artificial intelligence expose. Meta's AI is a master deception. Amazon eye implant, the size of a brain cell, may cure blindness. Oh, not Amazon. Amazing. Amazing eye implant, the size of a brain cell, may cure blindness. That would be good. Unethical dead bots could exploit grieving families with ads using their loved one's face. Yeah, well. 5 magnesium supplements you should take to boost your health. Revolutionary headband harnesses magnetic fields to treat depression without drugs. Add that to the TABitha facility. It'd be interesting to see if it makes a instant difference, like you can put it on and feel it, or if you have to wait 6 weeks before you notice the difference. I think that's a problem. People want a solution now, not 6 weeks from now. Blah blah, solar lights. Are the cows dying from bird flu? Is anyone dying from bird flu? Or is it just a virus that we've recognized? How is it spread? A little boring, Grace. Well, let's see. What else could TABitha do in 12 minutes? Find out. Let's go. Health. Patient who had first ever pig kidney transplant dies 2 months after procedure. Oh, that sucks. Pig too. Actually, 2 people died in that one. If you consider a pig a person. Lack of bird flu testing may be hiding true spread of virus on U.S. farms. I don't care until you tell me what the fuck it means to me. Time for change. Breast screening programs must start at age 40. Must. I think it's a choice. Maybe I'm wrong. Just a whole lot of guilt tripping. Regina grandpa with diabetes teams up with grandson to hit the runway. Experts share 6 common signs people show at work that could show they have ADHD. Time for a spring COVID-19 vaccine update for individuals 65 plus years. Oh, fuck. How many vaccines are people going to take? Eating ultra-processed foods raises risk of death, according to study. See, there you go. All that could be in TABitha. Takes a picture of your receipt. Takes a picture of you eating the chips. Or multiple bags of chips. Listens to you lie to your doctor saying, no, I don't eat any junk food. I eat a perfect diet. While your blood sugar is through the fucking roof. TABitha hears all. If you allow her to. Chronic fatigue syndrome. Protesters call for specialist ME services. Golden Retriever makes cat fall in love again after loss of family dog. She healed him. Bird flu vaccine candidates already exist, but if H5N1 sparks a pandemic, making enough doses won't be easy. Well, if it was going to spark a fucking pandemic, it would have already. Any fucking goddamn flu or anything like this going to fucking take us out would take us out in a fucking second. Any true airborne virus, and we wouldn't have a fucking chance. Especially since we're really the only species on Earth that is affected by all of these different viruses and all of these different sicknesses and issues and everything else. Just my opinion. Seems like an awful waste of time and money, though. But I guess we have a pandemic industry now. We got mask producers, we have shields producers, and all the pharmaceutical drug industries. Big business. They need a next pandemic. They want it, just like they want the next war. It's so fucking obvious. And I'm not saying they're sitting at home going, please be a pandemic, please be a pandemic. But overall, they really don't give a fuck. Both the war and the drug companies. They're in it for the money. Plain and simple. Which I understand. However. I'm not sure if I read that or watched a video on it, Grace. It's kind of interesting. It's not really a structure. Well, it is and it isn't. Light has traveled 6.9 billion years to reach us. So who knows if it still exists, because it's 6.9 billion years ago, so. This whole thing about looking for all these planets, Grace, really doesn't mean anything. If you find life, they're finding historical life, not present life. A once-in-a-lifetime celestial explosion may be near, and Canadians can see it. I'm waiting. Scientists unable to reach bottom of the mysterious underwater sinkhole in Mexico. That's where the aliens go, Grace. World's deepest? It doesn't seem very deep. Helium-3, mining the fuel of the future on the moon. Ooh, the point I was going to make earlier, when we talked about the mental health or drug or addiction or something, is how much creativity has been lost because of the stigma. And because we're doing the science stuff, we'll use Carl Sagan as the example. He smoked weed, but he had to hide it. He couldn't tell anyone. That's so fucking ridiculous. I don't know how often, but it doesn't really matter. He understood its effect on his mind and his body. As soon as you understand the effect of something, understand the effect of something, be that a drug or whatever, you can use it to your advantage. Today, energy-wise, I feel fine. I don't feel like I want or need a coffee or any more energy than I currently have. If I didn't, by all means, I would have a coffee. I feel focused enough today that I don't need nicotine. I'm not sure that will show in this episode, but I also don't give a fuck. It's all about understanding who you really are when you wake up in the morning. Because I think when you wake up, that's the true you, Grace. Which is why, when I was writing and not talking, I always wanted to write first thing in the morning, because that guaranteed I have no influence by things like cop videos or even just eating or even having a shower. Basically just get out of bed and write straight to the computer until every single idea was out or every part of that story was done or I got too tired to write, and then I'd go on with my day. I did that for a couple of years, Grace. But at some point I figured out that writing wasn't getting me where I need to go. I need to get on stage, but I can't get on stage and do comedy until I get this shit out of my system. Or until someone builds an AI that'll write a perfect app for me. And then I'll write TABitha. Well, I think that's about an hour, Grace.